For you, cycling was, I mean, emotionally important. It wasn't just something you were good at and you wanted to compete and win at. It filled a need in your life.
Well, yeah, I had a really great parents when I discovered cycling. It was after a really a difficult period in my life where I had been sexually abused prior to just getting into cycling, and it was kind of like a blink out. But cycling literally saved my life.
When you say it saved your life, it gave you something to focus on. It gave you a way out.
Yeah, I say it just. I have no clue what I would have been like had I not found it. The exercise really opened my mind. It actually gave me kind of peace, but it was also very fulfilling. And I would say that it saved my life. I always go, gosh, you know, I could see somebody in my let's say the way my brain works, and then coming from a period of being sexually abused, and you could be self-destructive. People could self-destruct, and cycling was a very positive aspect.
You didn't want to dope?
No, absolutely no. Of course not. There's a sickness in sports, and it's an ego deal. And if somebody's better, really just more talented, the egos of all these other athletes don't believe that person's that much better. They believe that guy's got to be cheating, and they cheat. And so it's a rare. I think I was very fortunate to be extremely talented and never even had to think about that to perform. I mean, why would I have to think of taking something if I'm winning?
When did you meet Lance Armstrong? When was the beginning of your
I met Lance at the wind tunnel in, I think, 1990. I just had won the tour and kind of was aware that some young riders might be nervous to meet me, and I kind of jokingly said he looked like more of a football player than the cyclist, and my wife said he didn't take it well.
You spoke out about Lance Armstrong, and a lot of people criticized you for that at the time. Why did you speak out?
It wasn't Armstrong. If it would have been a Belgian, and I knew this, I would have had the same opinion. It wasn't Armstrong in particular, but it was.
In fact, it sounds like almost if it was somebody else, you would have spoken out more.
Absolutely.
Because there wouldn't have been the cancer story. There wouldn't have been the Live Strong charity. There wouldn't have been all these things.
Yeah. But that actually was the thing that got me the most, was that he manipulated the cancer community. I mean, I have family members with cancer. Everybody's been affected by cancer, but it was the manipulation and using that as a way to. It was like Teflon, and he used the money. He used the foundation to not only cover for him, but also destroy people.
The sheer number of people who had a vested interest in protecting him, I mean, whether it's companies or individuals, hangers-on, other riders, I mean, there was a whole industry sort of geared toward protecting him.
Yeah, I never understood that. I actually, when I raced, I believed that rules and that, you know, a sponsor, if I'm doping and I'm positive that I would lose that sponsor, I'd get kicked out of the sport. And that's what I think a lot of riders believed, but that changed. And it became so rampant in the 90s. But Armstrong, I think, came in with the perfect opportunity where there was a huge drug scandal in 1998 called the Festina Affair. They found 1,000 ampules of drugs in a car. And this Tour de France came to its knees. And when he came back, the cancer story, everything, it was like he brought life back to the sport, but it was a false hope.
In 2001, in an interview, you said, if Lance is clean, it's the greatest comeback in the history of sports. If he isn't, it would be the greatest fraud. Do you think what Lance Armstrong did was the greatest fraud in the history of sports?
Absolutely. The greatest fraud was that, I mean, I know his physical capability. He's a top 30 at best. I mean, at best. No matter what. If he was clean, everybody was clean, he's top 30 at best. He's not capable of winning the tour, not capable of top 5.
Is it true that he threatened you by saying that he would say that you used EPO?
Oh, yeah. He did offer $300,000 to a teammate to say that I took EPO, and the guy refused. And this is a guy that could have used the money.
Why would he go after you like that?
He's a bully. He's a thug to me, and I'm the one that wouldn't put up with it.
And so when Lance Armstrong says, well, look, everybody was doing this, I was just trying to even the playing field.
He wasn't. He couldn't race on a level playing field. That's why he bribed the governing body.
What do you think should happen to him now?
This is not a sporting infraction. This is criminal.
You think he should go to jail?
I do, yeah. Yeah. There is a point where there are people who are just not good. And there are some people, I mean, I'm sorry, but there are people who are criminals that just shouldn't be able to participate again in anything.
And he's one, you're saying?
Yeah, it's like Bernie Madoff. Should he be allowed to come in and, be part of Wall Street managing money? No, he shouldn't. And that's what Armstrong, he shouldn't be allowed to be back in the sport.